back from E3 2019. Shoutouts to Izzy and Sabrina and Chris Walker last week for getting a Dark Phoenix Supernova hot take out there. It's glad to know that AP Marvel is not on fucking fire when I'm away. So I'm joined by Anthony Paone.
Hey everyone, how are you?
We're all great. We're going to talk about video games. I was at E3 2019 in Los Angeles, sunny Los Angeles. Yeah. I got sick.
A young gamer's dream, one would say.
Yeah, the dream is to get sick from E3 because there are so many people there. Everyone's sharing controllers, and I caught the gamer flu.
Not the gamer flu!
I've been doing a little better today. I can sort of breathe through my nose, and
gamers rise up.
I only napped like 5 hours today. Anthony, when I went to New York Comic Con, you kind of did a little interview thing with me. I thought that was a nice thing. So yeah. You can pile on questions about E3 2019, about the games that I saw, all the
what games did you play? Mm-hmm. What games did you go to see? Mm-hmm. Did you see any famous, by famous as in internet tier famous people? Did you interact with them? What did you talk to them about? And what was your favorite and what was your worst game that you interacted with? And what was your favorite and worst game that you saw in total?
You can also ask those questions one at a time. That way I can actually answer them.
I will type them out as Chris answers the first one.
What was the first one? I don't even remember.
Which was? What did you see?
I went to the Microsoft show. I went to the Microsoft Theater. I sat down in the auditorium and I watched the goddamn show. Phil Spencer was there. Keanu Reeves was there. The guy who yelled, "You're breathtaking," was there. Yeah. No, because they did the Cyberpunk reveal, and then they showed this kind of boring CGI trailer. It's like, okay, yeah, that's Cyberpunk. This is an actual gameplay. And then they show another little piece where you're like, it's first person, you're playing as V, and you wake up. And who is it that helps you up? It's Keanu Reeves! And the crowd goes wild, and then the fucking door on the stage opens up. There's lights and smoke, and out comes Keanu Reeves, the Baba Yaga himself, and we all gave him a standing ovation.
The boogeyman. I feel like as gamers, that is the most standing ovation worthy thing on the planet.
Yes, this man who has nothing to do with video games is gracing our presence. But I saw that. I saw the Bethesda show. Bethesda, they do Doom and Wolfenstein and Elder Scrolls. Yeah. Elder Scrolls 6, or as I'm going to keep calling Skyrim 2. He name dropped it. He did not reveal anything else about it. All they did was they showed off Doom Eternal, which looks badass. It looks so good. Wolfenstein.
I know. I'm really hyped for Doom Eternal. Chris, watching the Giant Palm stream, they kept talking about how cool it was.
There's a space gun.
Jeff's specifically saying, dude, that game is fucking sick! Yeah, and I'm just now I'm hyped for this. Sure. I never was really a big Doom fan, because I was just yes, just walk around and explode things, but then watching the trailer about, moving really quickly and exploding things, that's fun.
Motherfucker, play Doom 2016. It's such a good game.
Okay, I'll wait till it comes on sale. Now, Chris... Other things. What other so you saw the man, the myth, the legend, Todd Howard with your own eyes. When you were in Bethesda's, the studios, the event, did you seethe with anger, or were you just all right, that's a fine apology?
Why would I be angry when I've never played Fallout 76? I think the thing that I was angry about was that they were kind of yeah, we kind of messed up, but we're doing, and you guys were very loud about it, and they were, kind of winking, nudging about it, and it's you're kind of letting shitty gamers get away with being shitty, of, harassing developments, and just, being mad over a fucking video game, and you're yep, we heard you, and you're right, the customer's always right, and it's no, hold shitty people responsible.
Yeah, but also they did they were really shitty as well. Let's not.
Sure, no, it's fair. I mean, here's the thing with me personally. I had a headache. It was late that day, and I just did not want to be at Bethesda. So, like, I was like, "Oh God, please sense. Wrap this up." Oh, I just want to get out of here. I just want to. I want to get their fucking free food because they had free food afterwards.
Ooh,
free drinks. Got some drinks. Yeah, they had giant Connect 4. They had giant Jenga.
That's kind of cool.
It's all right.
Did you go to the Fortnite thing?
The Fortnite.
Did you go to the Fortnite thing? Please don't. Did you go to the Fortnite arena thing? Didn't they have like a giant?
They had a space in the convention center, so I passed by it, but I didn't participate in the Fortniting. But
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The show floor is cool, and Nintendo always has the coolest setup there. They had where I was getting at was that the Luigi's Mansion 3. They had they built like a giant cardboard hotel on the show floor. They had like people dressed up as hotel employees, and then they had life-size Luigi and Gooigi to take pictures with, and it was very adorable. I took a picture with Gooigi.
The man, the myth, the legend.
There are a lot of men, there are a lot of myths, there are a lot of legends, according to Anthony. But you can also take a picture with the 3 starter Pokemon. So of course I took a selfie with my boy Sobble. And
Sobble is the best Pokemon. There will be no other Pokemon to defeat Sobble. If I get Sword, I will not evolve my Sobble. It will be a level 40 Sobble.
Interesting choice. Okay, all right.
That is my hard take.
Yeah. I walked by Charles Martinet, who voices
the Mario. The
Mario and the Luigi and the Wario and the Waluigi and etc. That man voices all of them. Always wearing some sort of tropical shirt. Like he's always in goddamn paradise.
My man.
I didn't get any time with him because he already had a line, an impromptu line, geez. And people were all trying to get him to sign like their Joy-Con controllers or something like that. So Charles Martinet was there. Yeah, they had an Avengers set up there. It looked like it was a like almost like a trophy room and like a celebration of sorts for A-Day, aka Avengers Day. If you've seen the trailer at the Square Enix conference, you know what I'm talking about. That is kind of the inciting incident of this Avengers game. There's this big celebration in San Francisco, and then things go awry. I was not there at the Square Enix event in person. I saw that on the live stream. I went with the website DualShockers, and they sent like the least weeby guy to go to the most weebiest conference. So like he had to sit through like fucking Final Fantasy and
the anime con
shit. I mean, apparently he was actually impressed by how Final Fantasy looked. So like it wasn't as much of a disaster as we were hoping it was for him, but
and the Mako reactor.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, have you not watched Night 3 of Giant Bomb's coverage?
I haven't watched any coverage. I've been too busy with my own coverage, my dude. All I watched was
I forgot.
All I watched was Jeff Gerstmann from Giant Bomb interview Phil Spencer, because that's always the best interview. It's really crazy just like how good Jeff's questions are and how open Phil Spencer, a goddamn like executive, is with just like talking about the future of video games. It's fascinating as fuck. So if anyone actually has an interest of like, you know, industry trends and like the experience of just like how do you play video games with streaming now being a thing, I would totally recommend watching that like 50-minute or so interview on YouTube. Giant Bomb, Phil Spencer, E3 2019. It's a great watch.
What did you see the human crane?
Elaborate.
There's a crane that like they should put you in a harness and then they lower you and you grab it's a giant crane game, and then you pick things up if you're a person and then you have to hold on to it and then carry it off. Have you not?
How would I miss a thing like that? Oh my god, what?
Yeah, it was kind of cool. What other celebs did you see?
I mean, just just folks I follow online. I don't really want to say their names, but a lot of
okay.
Waypoint,
Yeah.
Giant Bomb
Cool.
people.
That's awesome. What was your favorite game?
Like...
What games did you see behind the scenes, and what games did you play behind?
Yo, Lego Star Wars looks really good.
Oh, cool! Fuck yeah.
It's like they totally rebuilt the entire concept of a Lego game, and it's like over the shoulder, third person, and open world. And in the Millennium Falcon, you can fly to any goddamn planet at any time.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, you can play any of the episodes in order.
I think they had third person in Lego Marvel.
It's more like Gears of War-esque. Like Resident Evil
cool.
4-esque.
Awesome.
Like when you're Lando, it just turns into a third-person shooter.
That's awesome.
They showed Return of the Jedi, is why I mentioned Lando, but
that's cool. That's awesome. That's like really fucking kick-ass.
Yeah.
What was your favorite game of the entire conference?
I don't know. I played Doom Eternal.
Okay.
It was cool because me and two colleagues, we had an appointment. We went to the, it was like an Xbox showcase. So it was the day after the press conference, and we went back to the Microsoft Theater, and the demo stations were on the stage, like where the conference was.
Yeah, they were in the crypt.
Yeah, so,
beneath the stage.
I sat. That was so stupid.
Some say the wrestlers are still down.
Yeah, I know. It looked stupider in person than it probably did at home. But it's like they put a camera under the stage.
It looked very dumb at home.
It was like a giant rod, like coming from the ceiling, and it was like, what the fuck am I looking at? So I sat down and played Doom Eternal on the Xbox One X. And I was sitting next to my two colleagues, and it was a hard demo. It was a difficult demo. I died multiple times, but I finished the demo before my two colleagues, so I am officially better at Doom Eternal than my coworkers. I'm awesome. Yeah. I'm a real gamer. You guys suck, Tomas and Logan.
Doom Gamers rise
rad.
up.
Doom Eternal's fucking stupid.
Gamer
like, I mean, if you saw Jeff Gerstmann's thing, like, he was, like, talking about the space gun where, like, there was a fucking cannon, and you, like, pushed out the shell, and you launched yourself with the space gun, and you just shoot up.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
It's like Super Mario Galaxy.
Sure, yeah, except, like, somehow stupider, but, yeah, Doom Eternal, awesome game. I'm really looking forward to playing that, especially, like, I played the Switch version of 2016, so, this was, like, a whole new, like, oh, my eyes are wide open now, I'm gonna get this on the PS4, so, that was our game of the show. I mean, I know it's just a sequel, but, like, Doom Eternal's really good.
Yeah,
Cyberpunk
really cool.
disappointed me. I didn't play it, but I saw I was at a closed doors demo, and it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna write about this, so look out for that. Hopefully, this, like, if it's not already out, by the time of this release, on DualShockers.com.
I'm assuming it doesn't do anything crazy that you
not really. There's some cool branching path stuff, but that's all I can really give it credit for. I kept cringing when the guy doing the demo kept saying he or she when talking about V, the main character, because
it's like that's like Gen X progressivism.
This guy wasn't even
that
Gen
I fucking
X,
hate,
like,
and
yeah.
Well, I mean, I see it specifically with Gen X people at work, or like older Gen X, younger boomers at work that will be like he or she. Just use they. It's a word that people have used for decades. Just use they.
Right, and like I'm not going to go into like the whole controversy with cyberpunk and trans narratives and other stuff, because that discourse is already out there on fucking Twitter and all of that. In fact, you can on the same day this is supposed to come out, I was a guest on Caitlin's show, Pound Around, and that's we talk about this kind of stuff. So also check out that podcast that I guest on today. So yeah, cyberpunk discourse is out there. You don't need me to talk about it here.
We're going to talk about something I think that's a little bit closer to home. We're going to talk about the Marvel games.
They do exist, yeah.
So, I never played Marvel vs. Actually, I played Marvel vs. Capcom.
Gonna take you for a ride. That's a song in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in the menu.
I've played the X-Men game for the SNES, right? The SNES?
Yeah, sure.
Or the arcade X-Men game. It's the streetscape beat 'em up. I forget that there's a name for those. I think it's Street. Whatever. You know what I mean?
Is this like side-scrolling beat 'em up?
Yeah, it's like yeah. And I played that. I never played Ultimate Alliance. I've played the phone game. What's the phone game?
The phone game. Yes, everyone remembers the phone game.
Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Yeah.
I played Marvel Puzzle Quest, and I played Spider-Man PS4.
Ah.
Oh, and Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Okay. I think my experience involves... I played Spider-Man 2, but not the Spider-Man 2 everyone's thinking about. So
it's Pizza Time.
No, not that Spider-Man 2. There was different
Wait,
Spider-Man
you're talking about
2,
the Amazing
and this
Spider-Man?
before the movies came out. This was for the animated series. And
yeah,
so there was a Spider-Man and the animated series, and then there was like a Spider-Man 2. So this is for the PlayStation 1. I don't think it holds up very well. I don't really remember it very well, but I think I didn't really get into Marvel video games until Ultimate Alliance 1. I bought that for the Wii. So there was some motion control bullshit with that, but I mainly just like mashed the A button to attack people. And that's pretty much it on my end. I was never really a fighting game type person, so I missed out on Marvel vs. Capcom. I did play a little bit of 3, and Infinite just doesn't really hook me. Like, this, what I've seen of it doesn't look that great to me. It looks very MCU based because at that point they had like taken out the X-Men and Fantastic Four from the roster. But I've been like following these games, so like there's been like a ton of Spider-Man games before I think Spider-Man PS4 really became like the big one. There was like Shattered Dimensions. People really like Ultimate Spider-Man on PS2, which I've never played, but I think there was like some Venom related stuff in there. And there was X-Men Legends before Ultimate Alliance, which really kind of like started that kind of method of gameplay, I guess, like the 4-player co-op, isometric camera. So they did get to, like, y'all remember they used to make video games to like based on movies. So, my favorite being Shrek 2, the video game. Yeah, great game. I'm looking at the case right now. It's right in front of me. And licensed games, not really a thing anymore. But the MCU did catch the tail end of that era. So there were video games based on Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, and Captain America 1. I believe that was called Captain America Super Soldier, and the Thor game was called Thor God of Thunder. I believe all of them were done by Sega. None of them were well received. Incredible Hulk, I assume it was just kind of like a dull version of Incredible Destruction, or like Ultimate Destruction, which is a Hulk game that people loved back in the day. I believe the people who made that game went on to make Prototype and Prototype 2.
Okay.
Yeah, which that makes sense. Super Soldier, I heard, was just like an Arkham ripoff in terms of gameplay. So, okay. I guess it was around that era, like, they just stopped making licensed games. Like, everyone stopped making licensed games, not just for Marvel, but for movies in general, because there was no Avengers video game, if you haven't realized. But I believe at that point, most licensed games were just, like, mobile, so I believe there was an Iron Man 3 mobile game. I don't know who made it. But THQ did have a canceled Avengers game. This was supposed to be unrelated to the movie, but it was supposed to come out around the same time. And I remember there was leaked footage of it, because it was first person, and each Avenger had like a different HUD. It had a different heads-up display. So I assume they all have, like, very different abilities and, like, different methods of playing. And I think you were just fighting the scrolls is what I remember from that. So there was kind of just like a dry run of that of like a lack of licensed Marvel games until, I guess, I mean, Spider-Man PS4, right? If you don't count Marvel vs. Capcom. And Anthony, you seem to really like that game, right?
Spidey PS4, yeah,
Yeah.
it's fucking awesome.
What was it?
It's one of my favorite games of 2018, except for all the cop shit.
Oh, sure, yeah, no, because fuck cops. But yeah, no. What do you like about the game? Like, just in terms of like how it depicted the character, how it played, how the concept of Spider-Man was like realized into a modern day video game.
I'm gonna first mention the gameplay because the gameplay was my first draw to it. It was fluid. It was fun. It just felt nice to swing. Sometimes I'll go back into Spidey PS4 just to swing around the buildings and just have a good time. And that's like, if you can do that, that's what makes it a cool game. And I think that's what, the developers were kind of thinking about. They were like, hey, we gotta land the swinging thing. If we don't land the swinging thing, this game is gonna suck. No matter how good the story is, the swinging's gotta be good. And they landed it really well. The fighting is very much Batman, like Batman Arkham style, which is fine. Like, I love that style, so if you're doing that again, great. Awesome. I don't care. It has
was
the
a
same
little
streamlined
from Arkham, though, was it? I feel like it went from 3 buttons to 2 buttons.
I think so, yeah. I don't remember. I haven't played Arkham Knight in a while, so I don't remember the gameplay.
Sure.
I don't remember like the physical buttons that I would press, but I remember the style. What else? I liked the story. I thought the story was nice. It was like it wasn't an origin story Spider-Man. It was a Spider-Man being Spider-Man type of thing, and he already has his villains already out there, and you're just kind of dealing with it as it comes type of thing. And it was good. Felt nice.
He's poor. He's struggling. He's a dude. Like,
he's just a dude.
Like, I just like that depiction of Peter Parker. Like, he's just kind of like, hanging by a thread. And he's already experienced. Like, he already had a falling out. Not falling out. He broke up with MJ. And
he knows about the Avengers. He hangs out with them, or he's hung out with them.
Right. Yeah. And that whole Doc Ock. This is spoiler alert. Dr. Octavius turns into Doc Ock, but like that was an interesting dynamic.
I thought they were gonna tease it at the end of the game, but they did it in the middle.
Doc
and
Ock,
I thought they did a full on Sinister Six shit, and I loved it. Yeah. I thought the reveal was really awesome.
Yeah, the entire game is built around Spider-Man and his power set, and it just worked for the most part on my end. Regardless, I didn't really like the stealth missions as MJ or Miles without powers, but gotta add some gameplay variety, I guess. I know that they looked to Spider-Man 2, the Treyarch video game that was based on the Sam Raimi movie, as a guiding light, because that was like the popular Spider-Man game at the time.
It's pizza time.
Yeah, just look up Spider-Man 2 video game pizza song, and you'll have a nightmare.
It's
tonight,
pizza time.
I guarantee you. That's your culture, Anthony. That's Italian culture right there, right?
That is. Hey, that's my culture. Bada bing, bada boom. See, I can say that because I'm Italian. Yeah, no one else can do that. Absolutely. That's offensive.
Yeah.
I think a lot of developers are kind of being taken aback by the Switch in the sense of like, oh, it will be easy. Like, it will be very easy just to port to the Switch, and it's turning out not to be as easy as people think.
I mean, the cost of development also, because like those fucking little cartridges cost a hella ton for whatever reason.
Someone showed me the Assassin's Creed 3 gameplay on the Switch, and it's like horrible.
Like how you tried to think of a better adjective, and you just like, it's like horrible. but
It's just horrific.
They are not putting the next Avengers game on the Switch, I can tell you that. They are putting that on the PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Google Stadia. Which is
we're not going to get into the Stadia thing,
no.
please.
So,
I don't want to talk about that.
Eidos Montreal is one of the studios behind the Avengers game, alongside Crystal Dynamics, and Crystal Dynamics was behind the
new Tomb Raiders.
The new Tomb Raider games, yeah. I mean, I think...
Which have been getting good reviews. Well, the first one got good reviews. The second one got pretty decent reviews. I don't know about the third one.
Third one was by Eidos Montreal, who...
that
was kind of like a changing of the hands, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider did not get as many good reviews. So I feel like the new Tomb Raider trilogy, it's very much adventure third-person focused with a lot of RPG elements because, it's also like a survival game. You are like, at least in the first game, you're like trapped on this fucking island, and you have to fend for yourself. You have to defend yourself from all the predators and all the people trying to murder you on the island. And it's like Uncharted but with more systems. And it's funny because Uncharted was basically like a rip-off Tomb Raider, the original Tomb Raider games, and now we're kind of going full circle. But there's just a lot more going on with Tomb Raider. It's a wider world. It was known for its brutality. There were some violent death scenes in that first Tomb Raider game, and you have to murder people, and as the games go on, you just get more casual with just brutally murdering dudes. By the time you get to Shadow of the Tomb Raider, you're covering yourself in mud, like in the fucking Predator movie, and you're just taking down people without any remorse. Yeah, pretty much. So those games are pretty well received. I mean, questionable story beats because I think Shadow of the Tomb Raider was just hey, you're going to this foreign place and you're just fucking up this village or this community or whatever. I did not touch Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Fuck that. But Crystal Dynamics has been working with Eidos Montreal on Avengers for quite some time. They announced this game. Try to think back to where you were. In January 2017. It's over 2 years. That was 2.5 years ago. There was this.
I was depressed.
Okay.
I mean, any if it's any time between 2013 and 2018, it was most likely me being depressed.
God, I think the days before that reveal, there was a mysterious countdown timer on Square Enix's website, and at the same time, there is another mysterious countdown on Marvel's website, and it's wait, this can't be a coincidence. Oh my god, they're putting Marvel in Kingdom Hearts 3! Of course, that did not turn out to be the case.
That's what everyone was saying.
Yeah. No, instead they had this trailer of someone talking, and then they had close-up footage of there's a fucking hammer.
The shield.
There's
the arc
Bruce
reactor.
Banner's broken glasses, and it's I had to watch the trailer again, but it was implying it was called the Avengers Project. And to me, that was kind of implying that would be multiple games. And I'm not sure if that's still the plan. But we've known about this project for quite some time. It kept missing E3, and it finally came about this year after all this hype and anticipation. They were hyping this up the days before, hey, we're finally gonna show off this Avengers game. Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, Square Enix, we're all working on this game. It was the end of Square Enix's press conference, and they show the trailer. So again, it's
I watched it live.
Yeah, it's generic monologue about heroes, and then you see okay, we're in San Francisco. That's where the Avengers are. There's,
Heroes.
Yeah. It's A-Day. Stuff goes awry. They're fighting on a bridge.
Really, on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yes.
Come on, bud.
Yes. How can I possibly not get that right? And the banter was just not very good, not very well written. The voices sounds disturbingly familiar. And the gameplay, like, if you could even call that gameplay, just looked very standard third-person action. And then Cap fucking dies, apparently, in that trailer. You see, like, action shots of, like, villains like the Taskmaster, and the Abomination, and then, I don't know, they just didn't really show a lot. I mean, they had some people go up on stage, and they're like, and this is like online multiplayer, and there's no season pass or microtransactions. Yeah, so, like, you're playing cooperatively with people. Yeah.
See, like, that's what I was wondering. Is this going to be, like, raids?
I don't know.
Is this going to be like Destiny raids with the online portion? And all the campaign stuff is going to be you playing as the Avengers.
Yes, that's the sense that I get. Let me skim through again. My colleague Logan Moore. He saw a.
I just want to point this out to.
Yeah.
I just want to point this out to the rest of the group, like, and people listening. Like, if a new game is coming out, it shouldn't be this hard to sell your game on. Like, this is what happens in the game. This is what is like. These are like, show us menus in the game. Show us what the physical game is. No, but like, like
100 Thors fall onto Asgard, and then they all have to fight each other until one is the king.
God damn it! No, but like when they announced the Marvel Spider-Man game, they showed us specifically gameplay, not like what they showed us in the trailer, which was pseudo gameplay. I think people give the word gameplay too much credit in that type of sense, where they show a character moving not in a cinematic style, but there's no HUD, there's no nothing. That's pseudo gameplay to me. That's not gameplay.
You were probably right. The only question is, like, how ready was this game to show gameplay for? Because a lot of games this year were shown behind closed doors. I saw Lego Star Wars behind closed doors. I saw Cyberpunk behind closed doors. And I can gather why when I saw both those demos, because they both had bugs. They both had glitches. Those are not ready for like full on, like,
of course.
And I will say this. In your defense, Anthony, it was weird because Square Enix had one of the most effective press conferences this year, because I feel like Microsoft and Bethesda kind of failed to explain what these fucking games they were showing actually were. They were all cinematic trailers, and Microsoft especially, they didn't have like a dude come out the stage and be like, so in this game, you were playing as this guy, and you were doing this in this kind of game.
Yes.
Square Enix did more of that. They had very detailed trailers that, like, not only showed the concept, the premise, but also showed bits of gameplay. Avengers was like their big, like, that was their big showstopper at the end, and that was the only part of that press conference that did not go into that much detail, even though they had people go up on stage and like, try to clarify some things, but at the same time making them more vague. So, like, when they say like, no microtransactions, no season pass, you're like, okay, yay, none of that stuff. But wait, why does this type of game even, like, would even
warrant
consider having those? Yeah, exactly. So
why would it warrant that? Why are you telling, like, okay, you're telling us that, but I still don't know what this game is.
Yeah.
Can you tell? I mean,
they skipped a step in their presentation.
Like with Cyberpunk, they've shown us only very minimal gameplay, and they showed us gameplay, and they showed us multiple cinematic trailers. But we know what the game is because we know what CD Projekt Red makes. We know what we know what Gears 5 is because we played other Gears games. There was nothing that they it's fine to just show the trailer, and I get that. But I was looking for a little bit more other than just the voice actors explaining themselves.
Right, I forgot about that. I can't believe I forgot about Nolan North and Troy Baker.
That was forced and unnecessary because it didn't explain. There was nothing about the game itself, about what I, the player, am doing. Am I playing these characters for a little bit? You mentioned customizability, but what does that mean? Does that mean that I get like an Iron Man suit, but I'm also can get the abilities of Reed Richards? Like what else? Do I have the ability?
Can you like
to
switch
shrink?
out shields, like switch out hammers? You know, can you upgrade your
I'm
Thor armor?
Yeah, that makes sense. But when they say customizable, what do they mean by customizable? Because that can mean very different things. Does that mean customizable? Like I can wear the really ridiculous Spider Punk, not Spider Punk, the Ghost Spider
I know what you mean,
costume, or and like everyone thinks that it's normal and it's cheeky and funny, or is it I customize a new hero that I play as? And the fact that I wasn't clear on this, and the fact that a very simple explanation did not give that to me, frustrates me. And
Here's what they showed.
That's my take.
Here's what they showed behind closed doors. I was not with my colleagues when they saw this, so I'm only going by my coworker Logan Moore. I'm going by his written preview about it. So he basically described the gameplay as, it's a third-person action game, and the controls are basically the same across all the characters. So they showed off Cap, Iron Man, Black Widow, and Thor.
Fair. Makes sense. That's cool.
Right, and yes, and Hulk, and so, they all had, like, unique special abilities, like, mapped to the shoulder buttons. So, like, for example, Hulk would do, like, the clap, the sonic clap move, or whatever you call that. Let me read verbatim. Within mere seconds of seeing Thor in action, the first character we saw controlled in the sequence, I already had major reservations with what was shown. Combat largely looked standard and boring, with no real wow moments ever occurring. Even as you switch to then control Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, and ending with Black Widow, the core gameplay largely seemed to consist of smashing a single button to punch enemies that walked in your way. And, it didn't really help that, like, apparently this demo was on the Golden Gate Bridge, so you were literally just, like, running in a straight line with, like, no space to explore.
Yeah, I'm not, when it comes to stuff like that, I'm not kind of, like, that's not the deal breaker for me, because
it's a tutorial mission, right?
I'm assuming this is the prologue of the game.
Yeah.
And the prologue of Destiny was very much run in a straight line type of thing.
Right.
Like, this is where
press
your guns
X
are.
to...
This is where your... Press X... Like, that's probably prompts that appear in that sequence when you're playing the game. So I'm assuming that, like, they have that, the beginning sequence, the prologue, the training thing fleshed out, and the reason why it's so easy is because when you're playing the game, when it comes out in May, it's going to say, press S to do this, or in the HUD. And they didn't have that now. Yeah. And on top of that, this is going to be a game that kids are going to want to play, so they're going to want to make it easy right out of the gate. Which is fine, I get that, but I don't want the rest of the game to be like a giant beat 'em up.
Yeah, I think the spirit of what Logan's really getting at is that why do all these characters control the same when they all have unique power sets? So it's easier when it's a Spider-Man game because the entire game can be centered around that one hero's power set. But I'd be interested to see one of two things. Number one, what if they actually did a Marvel gaming universe and they tried to do individual games for each character first? But that's a long-term project. Video games are a lot of money. That's probably less viable. Number two, what if they just gave a different control scheme for each each hero. Like, what if this was like an Overwatch thing where like the special abilities are like matched to different buttons and they all have like unique different roles to play, rather than like it's the same button layout and you just hit this one button to beat people up. That's why I mentioned that THQ thing they got canned, because at least like they had like a different HUD for every single hero. And it sounds like they hinted Hank Pym at the end of this conference, so it's like, okay, you're gonna get like a regular slew of new heroes to play as. So that seems promising at least, but again, like, what the fuck kind of game is this? Like, are you gonna be in an online hub? Are you gonna be interacting with friends? Like, how are you gonna interact with friends? Is this gonna be like you said, a Destiny thing, or Aaron? Like, is there gonna be like upgrades thing, and like, you know?
This would be amazing. If this was Destiny, I would be on board. But I don't know. I have no idea. I have literally no idea. I was thinking this would be a cool Destiny thing where you play as like in Destiny, instead of you don't get to play as like Cade, but like, imagine if you get to play as Cade, and then you play for like a couple of missions as Cade, and then you get the online mode, and then the online mode is basically the rest of the game, and you see basically Iron Man just hanging out and doing shit, and you go and interact with him and get quests from him, and then you do missions and stuff, and then you go out with your friends who are also random superheroes, and then you do missions, and then you do raids together. Like, that's fun. I like that. I think that's kind of cool.
Okay, so this is a original Avengers adventure that contains I can't read today. An original Avengers adventure that combines cinematic storytelling with single player and cooperative gameplay. Blah blah blah. Featuring regular content updates, the game will take players on an epic journey delivered over multiple years. You'll assemble into teams of up to 4 players online, master extraordinary abilities, customize a growing roster of heroes, and defend the Earth from escalating threats. That is like the bare bone. That's like pretty much all they say. Dear Lord, I don't even know what they mean. Like, okay, no loot boxes,
like drop in, drop out.
I get it's so like why not play Ultimate Alliance 3, which I think looks much better.
Well, the thing about Ultimate Alliance that I have a thing with is that I don't like the far approach of it. I don't like how I feel like I'm too distant from the character to enjoy it.
I mean, it's
like a big thing. Like, a big thing for me is being like close enough to the character that I'm not mashing like 4 buttons.
So it's all character,
and then it looks all the same, and it's just a mess.
I will say I really liked the character interactions that I saw in a brief Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 demo. Because they feel like they updated all the characters. So like there's you know, I think the core demo I played had like Thor, Wolverine, Captain Marvel, and Star-Lord, and Jessica Jones is giving you a mission, and like everyone's talking how they were in their respective movies and TV shows. So it's like the TV movie crossover I never really got. So
no, and I'm excited for Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah,
and the reason why is because of that, and because it's fun and simple gameplay. It's not something that I'm like, it's gonna take forever for me to boot up in like I'm fine with it. It's gonna be something that is like, oh, I'm not gonna be upset about, dying or something. It's not like something I get overly attached to in like I'm trying to describe it, like in a Red Dead way. Like, I have to play it constantly. This is a game that I can drop in and drop out with my gameplay.
It's stylistic. It's more comic booky.
And it's more arcade. That's
absolutely
the word I'm getting at. Yeah.
Square Enix's Avengers game kind of looks like, hey, we saw that movie once, and let's try to make a video.
Speaking of the movies and how that connects to this, so Ultimate Alliance has a different thing, which I think is really cool. How it's not going to be obviously the same as the movies and the TV shows, but it's like a kind of a what if. This kind of throws all of that away and seems to be riding on the hype, which is fine. It's fine to create your own story and your own universe based upon a wide swath of characters that have never really interacted with each other.
Spider-Man did that. Spider-Man's their own thing, but like they did it successfully, I'd say.
Yes, exactly. And what was it? And for me personally, the faces aren't that big of a deal. It's just that we're used to your characters all the
I
time.
just think they
something...
don't look good. It's not that they don't look the same as the MCU actors. It's just like it's like it's not even Uncanny Valley because they don't even look that real. They just look like very weirdly crafted. Like someone pointed out. Shout out to Keen Shapiro who pointed out to me that Bruce Banner looks like John Stamos.
He looks like Troy Baker, but a little bit like he looks a little bit like Troy Baker, who voices.
Here's the fucking thing about that segment where they like showed the actors like sitting on couches and talking about and just exploring the characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you are
they really went in on this. They got like hardcore. They got like the hardcore VA.
If you're a non-gamer, like those people will mean nothing to you. If you are someone who follows video games, you're gonna see Troy Baker and Nolan North, who's in like every single video game. You're like, okay, yep, it's those guys again. Let's move on.
And then you have Travis Willingham, who voices Thor in the animated show, and is also in Critical Role, and also voices a bunch of other characters in anime. And then his wife, Laura Bailey, who is voicing is voicing Natasha, and it's like, okay, that makes sense to have them there. So, but they got like a whole cast of characters. I don't know.
So, yeah, I really wanted them to carve out their own space and try something different with the Avengers. Instead, this looks like a porn parody of the movie.
So far,
being too extreme?
No, I think that's a little extreme. I think actually I'm going to disagree with that.
I just think it just looks like a cheaper...
They went too much into the voice actor thing during the press conference when they should have gone more into the gameplay.
I just think the dialogue sounds cheap, the designs look cheap, the music sounds cheap. Everything seems so much cheaper. Like they tried to add
the dialogue sounds fine. I just think that if they the sounding, it's the words, the way that they are saying the words that they have been given is fine. It just takes hard. That is the big thing of you're used to hearing this person's voice.
Yeah, like Spider-Man PS4 didn't have Tom Holland, but like Yuri, I forget his last name, but like he made Peter Parker his own, you know? Likewise, Troy Baker has like already done like he has voiced both Batman and the Joker for multiple things, and like he does a good interpretation for both of those. So, I just don't know. I don't know.
Like, for me, it's the gameplay right now. That's all it is for me.
Sure,
I think the dialogue and the voice acting will be fleshed out a little bit better in the rest of the game. If they're going hardcore in on the cinematic stuff, like, I don't know, fucking look at Kingdom Hearts for all I care. The voice acting in that is fine.
Hey, my friends are my power.
The acting, the voice acting, the physical words, the sounds of the words, the sounds the people, like, the sounds that come out of people's mouths is fine.
Man, I don't know the sounds that are coming out of your mouth right now, but,
Jesus Christ, I can't speak. I just, I know people are, giving it slack for, look at those faces and stuff. It's like, or look at the way they sound is so weird. It's like, that's not going to be the big part of it. The big part of it for me is the gameplay and if the story follows it well. And I have no indication of any of it.
No, you're right. It's just, we just came out of a movie where we said goodbye to these characters. And now...
And that is understandable.
And now we're supposed to be like, hey, welcome back! 5 of the original 6 Avengers, and again, they just...
Where is Hawkeye?
Oh, whatever. And, to be fair, they have been making this game for years, so, it's not like it's their fault for, it coming out of Endgame, so... It's just, to me, I wanted to see something new. I wanted to see something a little more stylistic, maybe if it's more comic booky or look how Spider-Verse has shown how far you can go with a visual medium, and how Spider-Man PS4, how that had its own designs, its own color palettes. They tried their own thing, and I just don't know what the vision of this game is. I just don't get it. Even though they had like so much time to like give us a pitch at E3, I do not know what they're going for. And you know, my Avengers game would have been like, okay, you have the you got the original Avengers, but maybe make them a backstory. Maybe like base your roster based on who would be interesting to play as, who haven't we seen before, especially when there are just so many more diverse heroes out there to choose from. It just feels like
you'll get to do that.
Sure, yeah, they're going to add more characters, but and you know what? Maybe like having the most familiar Avengers as starting roster, that probably makes more sense in marketing.
So here's the thing that's interesting to me. Is if they add more characters, what's going on? Like,
what do you mean?
And that's what I was confused about when it came to gameplay. Like, is this one campaign? And is it like a 10-hour, 15-hour campaign?
They seem to imply you can play it all by yourself in single player, so I'm going to say yes.
So that means I can play it all 36 hours by myself as, say, Iron Man. Great.
That I did not.
I played it all in 2 months. I played it all in 2 months. Now, what's the point in me picking it back up again in November when they give me X-Men characters?
Right. I don't know. Maybe there'll be like the Taken King DLC, like new story missions and stuff. But
well, then it's gotta be coming out constantly. It can't, like, that's why I think this has to...
That sounds like what they're doing.
Like, I don't know...
I just don't know if I care. That's my thing. I don't know if I care at all. And it's hard. I don't know who's excited about this game.
I just don't know what this game is.
Yeah.
So there's nothing for me to be excited about.
Last thing I'll say about the game is that when they first announced this project, what we saw at E3 2019 was like the barest version of what I was expecting. So when I saw like, okay, they're doing Hulk, they're doing Iron Man, they're doing Thor, they're doing Captain America, in like that teaser trailer in 2017, it didn't have like the most inspiring color palette. So it's like, okay, this is probably just to be like attempt at like realistic character designs, and it'll be like a character action game. I hope they do something more interesting than that, and then they did exactly that. So it's weird that,
I mean, who can blame them for that? That's what the movies did.
Yeah, but like I don't know, like maybe like I mean like Tomb Raider.
I think it's fine to have that though. Like Tomb Raider did that.
Tomb Raider and Deus Ex, I guess they both looked how they did, I guess, you know, like it's an odd combination of people, you know.
I just don't know anything about it, and if I got more information on it, if someone showed me a gameplay trailer of 4 people playing it and different story missions and drop in and it showed me like, oh, you want to play as these 4 characters this mission, you can, but I don't want it to be like you playing as 4 random characters in the Marvel pantheon of heroes, and all the cutscenes are of the Avengers.
That'd be weird.
It would be weird, but that's a game that I have seen before from the mid-2000s. I've seen those games.
Yeah.
It's the games that are like, they talk about customizability, but the customizability is only matters when you're playing the character, when you're playing the game, not during the cutscenes.
Probably be some skill trees, some you know, whatever menu stuff Deus Ex
Look,
had.
my VR experience that I had for the Disney World ride that I was thinking about is so much better. Basically, what they have is you basically get the Avengers Tower at Disney World. It's this very big tower, and each floor, or you go up a certain amount, it's about 50 stories high. It's very tall. And each floor is a different VR, well, not different, well, actually, yeah, it could be different VR experience, but you're playing the six main Avengers in a VR kind of like simulated session. So you can like, you put your VR headset on, and then if you want to be the Hulk, you can be the Hulk and you get like Hulk hands. If you want to be Hawkeye, you get like a bow. If you want to be Captain America, you get like a shield, and then you can like bash people, and you're standing on like this conveyor belt type of thing, and you're running around and you're doing shit. And it feels cool, and you feel like you're like the Avengers, and it's cool, and you're in like teams with the people that you're playing with, and they can be strangers, or they can be your friends. This was a random idea. You can even cut this out. I don't even give a shit.
Someone's gonna steal this idea.
But like that sounds so much cooler because it's a cool VR experience. You get to play in the room with 6 other people, and you get to, and it has replayability because you could swap in and out different heroes, and if I want to go on it as Iron Man one time, I can go on it as Cap the next time with my friends. So when we finish the ride, we can get out and then go right back online. Brilliant. They should hire
beat that game, Anthony. I'm leaving
Disney,
it up to you. That's your assignment.
Imagineer, right here.
Bill Roseman.
I've had this idea for years.
That's the creative director of Marvel Games. He's like always talking about these games at stage shows. So Bill Roseman, that's the guy. That's the Kevin Feige of Marvel Games, I think. If you're listening to this, tell us what's up with this game. What's happening? What is Square Enix's The Avengers? I hope that game's good. I hope that game's good. It is coming out May 18th. May 15th, May 15th, 2020. I'm gonna wait and see until they actually reveal real gameplay.
Show me the game!
God. Yeah. Well, that's video games, I guess. Do you think this will be the same continuity as Spider-Man PS4? I think Spidey does mention, the Avengers are like across the country or something like that, and this game does take place in San Francisco. Yeah,
it could be.
That'd be fun.
Well, could be, but it would be. They would have to do cross. I mean, have they done that before?
I don't know. It's a whole new world with shared universes.
Cross developer projects.
That would be weird with these specific companies because you have Square Enix, Sony, and Insomniac. And Insomniac is technically not a Sony company. They have done third parties. I don't know. Bill Roseman, where are you at? I don't know.
Yeah, explain this to me.
Okay.
I'd actually like to ask, if anyone has a chance to ask anyone who's working on this game or works on Spider-Man PS4, like, to explain that to me, that would be fucking kick-ass.
Yeah. I'm sure someone's asked the question already.
In universe, it would be based around the same time.
Yeah.
Right?
Probably, yeah. I think there was a bit in Spidey PS4 where Taskmaster's like, "Oh, you're nothing to me. I fought the Avengers before." So Taskmaster is in I can't say Taskmaster for some reason, but
I mean, they could have. The Taskmaster can face the Avengers.
You caught the bug.
Times.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's wrap this up. Long story short, the Avengers game looks like a game, and I think Ultimate Alliance 3 looks pretty cool. I'm gonna get that game.
Yeah. Alrighty. Let's wrap this bad boy up. You can find me at the Pizza Taco on Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter that much the past few weeks. I have been busy.
That's good.
I have deleted the app off my phone. But if you want to yell at me there, you can.
With long pauses in between.
In between.
AP Marvel is on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and YouTube. You can subscribe to us on Apple, Google, and Spotify. Leave us a review on iTunes. Give to our Patreon. Check out our Medium website. And join our Discord so you can yell at us about how wrong we are about all these video games. Thanks to Charles Villanova for the graphics. Thanks to Steve Malto for the track Jazz Adventures. Thanks to all of our patrons. And we'll see you next week. We had to push back an episode about Thor and mental health. So we'll have a guest on for that next week. Till then... Goodbye,
Excelsior,
gamers.
true
Rise up.
believers.
Actually, no.
Gamer
Sit down.
gang.
Sit down.
Phase up, never phase down.
Gamers are terrible.
Gamers.
Goodbye, gamers.
That's what's gonna happen to Cap. That's what's gonna happen to Cap in Avengers. He's gonna start working for the bad guys. Just you wait. Hail Hydra. That's what's gonna happen at the end of this game. He's gonna be alive and he's gonna say Hail Hydra, and that will be the teaser for the Avengers by Square Enix too. What?
Not that. Don't do that.
What'd you say,
do
Chris?
that, Square Enix. Don't do that. Don't do it.
If they do it, Chris, do you give me money?
No.
Is that how this works?
What? No. I don't want
man.
this to happen. I'm not betting money on this.